What's up, Notjust developers? Welcome back to another live stream. Today, we are continuing building the language learning application, the peer-to-peer application that would allow people that wants to learn a language to go ahead and have a call with another person, with a native speaker, and practice the language that they are learning. This application will allow these video and audio calls, and I'm documenting my journey of building it in 1 week. And if you're new to this, why I'm doing this? I'm doing this as part of my participation at Not Just Hack, the hackathon that we are organizing for the online hackathon for mobile developers. It's happening from December 1st to December 31st. So there is still time that you can join and participate as well. And all you have to do is build an application, launch it to the market in this period, and then you have a chance to win amazing prizes such as a MacBook Pro M4. More information about the hackathon itself you can find at notjust.dev. While you're there, make sure to sign up to receive all the important information. But my plan during this period is to build 4 applications in 4 weeks. I'm already on the 2nd week, so that means that I already have 1 application published on the market, and now I'm working on the 2nd application, this peer-to-peer language learning application. And I'm documenting the whole process in daily streams. So if you want to follow my journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm going live every single day during December. And here is the application that the progress that I'm having so far. This application is way more complicated than I thought, but we have a lot of progress. So this application, I started with setting up the backend and the authentication, and then I added the possibility to start a practice session. Here we are joining a queue in the backend, and from my physical device, if I join the same queue, basically if our user is going to go ahead and start a practice session as well, they will be matchmade, they will be connected together, and they will be able to get on a call, as you can see here. And I'm not sure why it didn't add me to the call there. And if I go back and do it again, now both of us will get on the same call, as you can see. Hello there. So this is what I have at the moment. The calling functionalities, the chatting, everything works. And this is because we are using Stream. So as you can imagine, like building such an application with video calling would be impossible to be done in 1 week if you build everything from scratch. That's why I decided to reach out to our friends at GetStream, and they hooked me up with their SDKs that allows me to easily integrate chatting and video features. If you're building an application and need chatting or video and audio calling experiences, then definitely check out Stream, because using this SDKs, you save so much time in development. And as you can see, this is just the 3rd day and I already have all of these features ready that otherwise would take me probably months or even years to have something at least basic ready. But now everything here is working properly for chatting and video, all thanks to Stream. So thank you, Stream, for making this project possible. And let's see, what do we have to do next? Hello everyone who is joining us live. How are you doing, guys? How is it going today? Before we get started, I just want to point out that this morning, a couple of hours ago, I had a nice interview with Adam. So if you go to our channel, under the live sessions, you're gonna see this thumbnail. This is an interview with Adam, who is building small applications, small mobile applications, and he's now generating over 62K a month with his portfolio of applications. We dive deep there, like how he's doing this, what he's prioritizing, what kind of applications, and his process. So if you are interested, make sure to check that out. Like, I think this is such a golden interview filled with a lot of practical knowledge and things that you can apply to your apps as well. So definitely check that out. I think we can get started, right? Dea, how are you? Thank you. I'm good. It's a bit tiring because we are doing this every day, and today I have like 2 streams, and I also had like the meetings with the team to make sure that everything is on board, and meetings with our students at Academy, because previous week we launched React Native Mastery, the course that I've been working on for the whole year. And I have like calls with the students every Monday. And by the way, if you're interested, if you want to learn React Native and Expo, this is the way to go. The most in-depth and up-to-date course that will teach you the whole stack, as you can see here, with React Native Expo router, and more. So check it out, and you're gonna build these 7 applications, and at the same time learn and master everything related to React Native and Expo. You can find it at notjust.dev/React Native Mastery. Okay, hello from Somali. Hello, Al Huda. How are you doing? Let me pin this one here. And what I was thinking today to do is most probably around some small features such as onboarding and ways to select like what language you're learning. Because in a language learning application, there is a language that you're learning. And when doing this matchmaking, it would be helpful to know like what language people are speaking or what language I want to, probably the best case would be to connect together a person, for example, who is learning Spanish with a person who knows Spanish, but they have a common language that they can talk. For example, English, that can be. And that would require people to specify what language they can teach, or what language they can help others with, and what language they are teaching. So let's go ahead and try to do that first, right? Let's see, let me share a code. So I'm gonna go here for probably onboarding or things like that. Onboarding. Language. Okay, so probably in this profile, that's where I could do something like this language. Hello, Omyris. How are you doing? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually check from the previous project, from the invoice generator. I had there in my applications tabs settings, in the index settings, I had really nice way of displaying these lists. So let me try to bring one of them there. And I think I just closed the other one. So let me open a new window with that language learning. And in our source application, protected tabs, profile, let's call this one maybe profile or settings or stuff like that. And here we're gonna have more things other than what we currently do. So let's go ahead and do, that's going to be a view. There we're gonna have a text, and we're gonna have some kind of a list. Now we need the list item to bring them here. And the list item is this one. So let me bring it as well. We need to import pressable, we need to import the typo, and we need to do npm start. Can we use WebRTC and save cost? You can use it, but good luck on building the whole infrastructures on WebRTC for the video calling, because it's not that easy. And we're not talking just about like sending some data over the wire. Like it's so much more when you get to build like a video calling application. It's a lot. Let me check here. So it really depends on what you're optimizing for. Okay, so I have something there, like a profile. I'm going to add also a gap for padding. On this view, let's add a class name like this to add some spacings, and now we have some things. So for a list item, maybe this one is going to be languages. And the first one is going to be learning. And the second one is going to be speaking. There is also a left or label right. We can say learning English, for example, and then label right, speaking English. For me, that would be learning Spanish and speaking English. For the on-press events, I don't have yet how that is going to happen. But I have it. Hello, Catalin. For the language that I want to select, I think I'm going to have a component. In the components, let's have a new file, language list.tsx. Let's do here export default function language list. Languages. We need an array of languages, for example. It will have a name and maybe a code or something like this. EN is English? I don't know, maybe. And so on and so forth. And then we're going to take these languages and render it in a flat list. Now we just have to render it somewhere. Navin is asking like if WebRTC is similar to web or there would be some tweaks except permissions. I don't have a lot of experience with that, to be honest. So I don't know. I'd have to look into it. I would imagine it should be kind of similar, but maybe not. Language, add Somali language. What's the code? Okay. So we have this flat list. Now I believe we just have to allow users to select it. Selecting it might be on a different page, or where will it be? Maybe I'm going to have in protected in the layout. Is it in layout? In the protected, let me think. I can change it later, but let's now for a second do language, select language.tsx. And here let's do export default select language and render the language list. Now from profile, when we press on some of these, we're gonna do router dot push select language, and the same thing here. Now if I press on one of these, I need to reload. If I go here and press on one of these, I have select language. In the select language, I can go ahead and adjust the title of a page. By rendering the stack.screen and with a name. I don't need a name here, I just need options. And for the title, let's give this select language. Select language. Perfect. Now in the language list, let's improve like how we are rendering it. Let's add it into a view. Class name, I'm going to add something like padding 4. For the text, let's add here class name text LG, font bold, and maybe gray text, gray 800. Let's add also a background, maybe and on the flat list itself, we can do content container class name gap 2 and a padding 2 as well. Okay, so here we have it. This one can also be rounded. So here we have them. What AI assistant are you using in VS Code? This is called Cursor, and it's a fork of VS Code, so it's a completely different application based on VS Code with some AI features. I'm testing it out. Let me take a seat, please, and then we can continue. Okay, here we are. Is it free or paid? I think I'm paying for it, but they have like also free part pricing. Free. Yeah, basically it has a free. we are going to, like, when click on some of these things, we're gonna have to save this information on the user. First of all, let's figure out like these languages, if we can find some language database languages. Looking for something like this data. There are a lot of languages. So yeah, probably I'm not gonna overthink here that one. I'm gonna leave like some examples, and later on maybe I'm gonna come back and think like, okay, what actual language we're gonna add here. So for that reason, let me go in our Supabase, because that's where we're gonna store this information. On our database layer, in the table editor, on profiles, we're gonna store the information about the language that the user is learning and the language that the user is speaking. So in profiles, let's go ahead and do edit table and add here learning, and this is going to be a string or a text. And speaking, learning and speaking. And we're gonna only store the code of that of a language. For example, when we are here, we're gonna have let's add here, for example, when we press one of these languages, pressable, and on press is gonna happen, is gonna do something. But look what we're going to do. This language list, we're gonna make it a component, very reusable, so that we can render it in multiple places, in multiple screens. So what I'm going to do, actually, yeah, that's going to be the easiest way. In this component, we are going to say receive the on press event, or on select is going to be language, the code of a language. And we're going to call it when we do press. Let's create the type for this one and extract it from here. And now from, maybe I can even do like question mark to be optional. And in this case here, I'm going to simply say that, hey, this defaults to an empty function if it's not, nothing is provided. So in this select language, now we're gonna do it a bit differently. We're gonna, from profile, we're gonna actually have two separate pages, one for the learning the language selector and one for the speaking the language selector. So for that reason, I'm gonna go back into this protected tabs, and instead of profile being one single screen inside the tabs, I'm gonna make the profile to be a group of screens. So let's go ahead and select here new folder called profile. I'm going to move a screen inside here, and I'm going to rename it inside the profile folder as index, like basically the home screen of our profile group of screens. And I'm going to create a layout and export here a stack. Like this. Yes. It already has this select language, which I'm going to do in a second. But if I will reload this one, and by the way, I don't need anymore this part. If I go to profile, I still am there, but now I can add like more screens here. There is two headers that I need to get rid of one, and the one that I need to get rid of is going to be from this layout. I'm going to say, hey, the tabs.screen with a name profile doesn't need a header because it's already a group of screens, and it's going to have its own header. Header shown false. Now if I go here, not whole, but profile. And for some reason I put it as the first one. I can do here. I just need to render the others to make them first. So the first one should be, I don't even remember what's going to be here, but definitely index. And I don't even think we need the call, because the call we already created somewhere else. So I'm gonna clean up in the process a bit. Now we have just two screens. Profile is this one. Cool. And in profile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two screens. One of them is going to be select learning language.tsx, and this is going to render this language list. In the layout, we can say, hey, the screen select learning language presentation model, that's cool. And on the index in the learning, let's do select learning language. And it already suggests me to add speaking language as well, which I can simply duplicate this one existing. And where we see copy, let's say select speaking language. And in the layout, I will do the same for the speaking language. Now, let's see what's gonna happen. If I go to profile and press learning, nothing happens, of course. Profile, learning, because what? In index we do, I need to do /profile, and here as well. So if I go here and do select learning, we see select learning language. If I go here, select speaking language. In the layout, I can also do titles here. Title, speaking language. So learning language and speaking language. Cool. Now look what's gonna happen. Like we just created these two things, but we don't have a lot of duplicated code because everything related to how we render the language is there. And here it's the actual code that is different, which is what should happen when we select it, right? So in the select learning language, we need to do const update or let's do const on select. The on select is going to receive a language string and is going to do console log now. So if this is for learning, if I do learning and do German, French, nothing happens. And for speaking as well, nothing happens. Learning, and if I press on something, nope, because why? On select, maybe I can do console log something. And at the end, we should actually also do router back. Like after we select, after we save. Doesn't work because we can go into the language list and see that this one select, we never called it. We need to call it with the item dot code. So if I press French, now I see that the user selected the language FR. And here if I do the same, it's nothing because I didn't implement it yet. Language EN. So what I have to do is I have to simply say, hey, I just want to update my profile, Supabase, from not users but profiles. Await as well. Update learning language, is that how we called it? Learning and speaking. I just did learning. So learning, we're gonna do language. We are equal to user ID, but I need user ID. So we're gonna take it from this thing, from a hook. Use of. Okay. If user, only then do this. So let's see that in action. I'm gonna do learning and do Spanish. And I'm gonna look at my profile here and I should see, if I refresh, should see something here, but I don't because why? In off policy, am I allowed user can update own profile? Yeah, users are allowed to update own profiles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the error. So const error. And let's do learning Spanish. Could not find learning language column, but I modified it to language. That was the problem. So if I do Spanish, there is no error. And if I look at the data, I should see that I'm learning ES. Cool. So it's as easy as that. Now I will do the same on select in the other screen. Here on select, I'll also take the user and the only difference is that here I'm going to update the speaking language. I'm going to take this on select and send it to the language list on select. So now if I do speaking and do English, I should say here, the speaking updated to EN. Cool. And that is this speaking and this one. In the profile, in the index, where we have this user, let's go ahead and do, I'll need the profile information. The profile information, should I do the profile information in the use of, or maybe it should be somewhere else? I think I will do that with use query, and I'm gonna say, hey, give me profile, my profile. And I'm going to look for my profile. And I'm going to put in the label right, profile learning. And here I'm going to put profile speaking. So if I'm gonna go to my profile, I don't see that because I need to look at profile. Count null data. So here I need to do const so this one is going to be fetch profile and user ID. I know I can do it like this maybe. And in this situation, it should have a profile, right? Because I need data dot, what? Data? No. If I go here, it's undefined. Oh, because I need this ID here instead of that ID. So now it has learning ES, speaking EN. We're gonna transform them in labels by going into the language list and taking these languages. Let's put them in utils, I don't know, languages.ts. Let's do const, okay. Maybe I should do them a bit differently. Language map. Let's do it like this. So languages map. What's going to be the language map? I want to reuse the languages from these util languages. And inside index here, I will import the language map. Languages map. And let me check console log languages map. Is that what I expect? Like if I have this language and I do languages map like this, it's an array of en, es, and so on, but they need to be. No. Create a map from code to language object. So languages map, languages reduce. I think that should be good. Language. I was thinking about this. Language code equal to language. So this one is like this. Maybe. So now if I go to profile, might work because here I just need to do dot name and here as well dot name. So if I go here, it's Spanish and English, but in the database is ES is just codes, ES and EN. And by looking through the language map for these languages, we are trying to find the name for that code. And the only thing is left is if I change something like German here, it's not gonna auto update here. It's only going to happen after I reload. But, and it's German, but because we have, we included TanStack query, we should actually go ahead and automatically update it by using them inside our where protected tabs profile, select learning language. So this thing, we're gonna put it into a mutation. So let's do const something equal use mutation, and mutation function is going to be mutation function. Like in the function we need to do this like this. Okay. If error, I think we need to simply throw the error. And in the use mutation, we can also have here on success, we can do router.back and also client invalidate queries. But how do we do that? Let me check the documentation. TanStack query invalidate queries. I think it's this one. Mutations, mutation function. Yeah, I think here we just need to do const client use query client. And in the on success, we're gonna do client invalidate queries profile and then user ID. So invalidate the query with this key, and the query with this key is the one on our profile, and only then do router back. And in the on select, I don't even need to do on select because here I can do, hey, just call mutate with user. I don't even need you. No, yeah, with language, or simply do, yeah, I think that's better. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna reload. If I go to my profile and change from German to Spanish, it automatically changes here. If I do English, it automatically changes. German, yes. And I need to basically do the same in the other screen for select speaking language. So instead of all of this, and this is the power of TanStack query. I just need to change here speaking. So if I go to speaking Somali, it automatically updates. Speaking Spanish, it updates there. Okay, good. So that was our git status, git learning and speaking languages on profile. Okay, so good, we have it. P2P. P2P means peer-to-peer. Hello, Panlor. Panlor is saying he's 14 years old and has a crazy idea. Where to start and more, but what progress do you already have? Like, I don't know, like it's very, the question is very general. I don't know how to answer such a question. But yeah, go for it. That's the only thing I can tell you. 14 and working on the idea. Amazing. What to do if unable to solve the errors or unable to run specific library in React Native? Become engineer is suggesting Panlora, and actually, yeah, that's a very good point. Like to learn from YouTube courses. Yeah, try to follow some of the courses that we have on YouTube because they are project based, and you're gonna build these different projects, and by building them, you're gonna learn more information. So yeah, go ahead, follow tutorials on our channel and build projects and learn from them. But that would be the best what you can do now. Okay, so we have this all languages, learning German, speaking Spanish. I'm gonna grab a coffee and I come back and we continue. Hello. So what are we going to do with this information from the profile about the languages? At least I think we will display it somewhere when you join a practice session with someone, right? Or it doesn't work. Hello, cheers. So not exactly sure, but somewhere here we need to display what language is that person learning and speaking. So in our application protected practice ID, we have a practice and we can also about the practice we know some information. So when fetching a practice, there is this user 1 ID and user 2 ID. And I think I can fetch together with the practice the information about the user from profiles because it links to profile. So Supabase fetch related data. A reference table, for example, like this. So this should happen like something like this. We need to give a column a name. So profile 1, that's going to be user 1, users, and then profile. Wait a second. Profile 2, users. And then exclamation mark, and we do F key and then exclamation mark, and that's user one. How is that column called? Sender ID. User one ID. F key. And then everything from there. And same thing here. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm just trying to, when fetching the practice, to also get information about the profile 1 and profile 2. Console log data. So let's try to join a practice session. I'm gonna do here console log practice. And here I can also do JSON stringify. Let's try start. Practice. I need to also display the error. Search for foreign key between practice and users using the hint user. Okay, and this came out. So it's not between users, it's between profiles. Profiles, correct. Now, search for practice and profile using the. What if I don't specify this part? Practice profiles that not exist. Yeah, here is going to tell me user one IDF key. Try changing profiles to one of these, or user 2. Okay, now it worked. And as you can see, hello, we have information about the practice, but we also have information about profile 1 and also information about profile 2. And profile 1 has this learning D and speaking ES. I think the last step is here is to see where. Practice. Our user is going to be equal either to practice profile 1 ID if it's equal to my user ID. Let's get my user ID from off. So for our user, we're gonna check if this one, if ID equals to our user ID, then it's going to be the other profile 2. Otherwise, it's going to be profile 1. And that is the other user ID. And somewhere on the top, I can do here, I don't know, a text, our username, speaking speaking, learning, or maybe I should do learning, and speaking our user dot speaking, only if it exists, right? So if now I'm gonna go and practice learning nothing, speaking nothing, because our user did not update. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to reload my user on our device. Give me a second. Now if I'm gonna go select a language from here, for example, I'm learning German and speaking English. And if now I'm gonna start a practice session with that user, I'll see learning DE, speaking EN. Learning DE, speaking EN, because that's the information about our profile that I'm in the practice with. So our user learning here, probably I should do like languages map dot name if it exists, and like this. So learning German, speaking English. Perfect. And here in profile, German, Spanish, and I have the same in Vauer, German, English. Okay, so we can add here a small class, text center, large font bold, and a P4. Okay, good. What are you developing? I'm developing a language learning application where people can join a call and practice the language. Okie dokie. So speaking and learning, set I set it for profile, display it in the practice session, and maybe I need later to set it in the onboarding of the user. Maybe that would be like a separate part with onboarding. This part is actually done. This part is done. Okay, and another thing that maybe I wanted to try out in this application to help people with their on the calls. because I believe if you join a call with a random person, it's going to be quite awkward. I'm thinking about like some kind of word games, word conversation starters. So part of a practice session, when you join, I'm thinking of doing that, some kind of language. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing something here for a starter, conversation starter. Let me check some of the things. So application protected practice ID. Here we do call contents and my call controls. Let me also look at some of the documentation from stream to see what else is possible. We see the ended and active calls here. React Native documentation. So what component we are using here? It's call content, and the call content, the highest level UI component that allows you to build your own call screen with full UI elements. So you don't need to care much about each feature, that you need to build a video call screen with this component. This is a full call screen with multiple UI elements such as the top view, participants grid, and control action buttons. Not sure why in my case the call controls at the bottom are not very nicely displayed, because it's not coming from here. Don't even think I need this one. We lay out grid or spotlight, we can do that. Landscape on hang up call handler. Handler to be called when the call is left using the hang up call button. That's good, because what we can do, like if we press on the hang up button, we can do router.back. So if, for example, I'm going to join a practice session, I'm gonna hang up the call here. I'm gonna go back. Okay. Supported reactions, call controls. Props to customize call controls component. Participants label. Component to customize the label of a participant. So the label of a participant, at the moment, I don't see it at all. We're gonna look, but for call controls. So let's see this one. Call controls allow users to execute actions during the call, for example, mute and mute reactions. We provide a built-in call controls component that display all relevant information. What's going to happen if we just say call controls equal to call controls? Because I don't like how it was looking here at the bottom. It's very minimalistic. Let's try to build our own custom call control. What if I'm going to have something like this? I don't want to reinvent a lot, but at least to have something. So toggle audio preview button, audio publishing button. And I can do the same here. So I can do custom call controls here instead of the default ones. In the call content, I can do custom call controls. And if I join, Okay, there I see them. One, two, three. Cool. I will put them in a, first of all, in a safe area view with edges bottom. Come on. Oh, but not here. Okay. Okay. Why are you reloading? Maybe not between, but justify around, or justify evenly. Maybe I'm going to do some kind of I don't like that I'm moving back and forth so much, so I'm going to probably go into tabs index. I'm gonna have here another button that will say test call. Practice 1. So if I go here, I'm going to quickly grab an ID. For example, this one from practices. Come on. Test call. Okay. This is going to allow me to just focus on the call UI without having to go back and forth. So practice here. So I didn't like evenly. I said I wanted around. Okay. What is the name of a site? 1, 2. What is the name of a site that you use to add tasks to the application? For that I use Notion. So you can find it at notion.so. I'm thinking, do I need to do that, or I can just do call if I don't add anything on top of that? This is how you can add like more adjustments. Hello, 1 1 1. Let's try to use ChatGPT to give some ideas of conversation starters. That would be nice, like to add some kind of cards. These would be cards, like conversation starters. And you take a card, then you reward points or badges for theme decks. And that reminds me of oh boy. That reminds me of some of the cards that I've got recently. They are for like storytelling and strategy and so on. And basically you pick out a card during a meeting and it has like some tasks or some way of doing things. And maybe we should do that same here in the application where you pick out a card and you get like either a game or a task or something that will help you drive a conversation. So let's think how that would work. Which kind of thing we're going to do first? What's your favorite dish? Like it would be let's do the first one. What's your favorite? So let's start with a simple button in our icons card or cards like this. We're gonna put it somewhere in our call components, maybe here. White. Now when we play on it, when we press on it, we should open up a card somehow. That's interesting, challenging how we're gonna do it. Yeah, I'm going to think about like how to do it better. I just need to get started as always, because I get stuck at like UX and how to do it. So somewhere in our practice session, practice page, I think even like after our call content, maybe at the bottom, we're gonna have a view with a text that will say, would you, or what is your favorite? So test call, that's at the bottom. We can do here class name like this. Maybe even put it into a safe area view. Why it's not reloading? Don't see it. Save area view. Okay, at the top it's visible. Maybe not flex one. I'm gonna comment out this one for a second. Whew, joined a lot of them. And you don't even need like this, please respond in English. I can have like a question initially. What's your favorite food? And this part, like food, probably should be randomized, like movie, food, and so on. I'll do cards, and let's do here. What is your favorite food? Book. And so on. Now I just need to pick a random card and use that here. So maybe in components, I'm gonna have like conversation card.tsx. Let's render this one in our protected practice. And let's do it here like this. So if I go on the test call, okay. Const card set card is card at 0. Set random card. Let's just do a random card, and I'm going to add here a button. Run next. So if I come here, instead of rendering this one, if I'm going to do card question, what's your favorite food? Next, what's your favorite sport? What's your favorite something and something? Okay, so we have something. Shuffle. Change. Next. Skip. I want to add the icon like to go to the next one. Or just right. This is going to be and if I press, it goes. Maybe I don't need bottom. Hello, Ricardo. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. By the way, guys, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps us a lot. And from analytics, like more than 99% of people watching are not actually subscribed. So yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now the thing is that with these conversation cards, the idea is going to be to work with the same ones, right? So we need to somehow send to the other person the same conversation card as this one. And I remember I was reading in stream that we can send events over the call. Custom events. You can use custom events to send data among the participants in the call. This is a real-time layer that you can use to broadcast your own events. For example, we can do a wait call and send a custom event, such as the ID of a card or the question. So in the call, we have here the call. On change card, we need to call a function on change card. Let's create this function on change card here. So that means that when I press here next, well, we actually need to take this one change card and say, hey, I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna call this one. Yeah, maybe I'm going to do it like this. What's the type card at the moment? ID and question? Yeah, maybe. Now from here, we can send it through the call. Doesn't work because the card is not set yet. So if there is no card, return null. Maybe won't change card. I should send just the ID. I don't know. Test. And when we call, it's going to do on change card 4, 3, 1, and so on. Now, from here, as we saw, we can do send custom event. The type of event is new or set card. Or should it be like this? And we're gonna say ID is equal to card, which probably should be actually card ID. So we are sending these events over there and we should receive it. So we need to do call on custom. It's going to be event. Okay. And then we need to unsubscribe. We're going to do that here where we do call on, call ended, I will do also maybe in another use effect actually. Call on set card. And that's going to be a custom event. So let's see to reload and to try to join the same call and see if it's going to, we're gonna receive this event. So if I do start practice session, here, start practice session, we would join the same call. Come on. Okay. And if from one part I'm going to do next book, it doesn't work. Okay, let's try. Start practice. Sending custom event. Something like duration. I don't know. If I change it. Sending custom event. But on the other end, it's not received. Subscribing set card. So it didn't work. That are watching the call. Oh, I need to go on a custom, right? That's what I was missing. Custom event. ID 4. And whenever we subscribe, we need to remember to unsubscribe when we unmount this one. So let's try again. Join. If I do next, set card event 4. Set card. Free. So that means that I can use that data to update the current card. Conversation card. So in the conversation card, probably the actual card is not going to be here. It's going to come from somewhere. Most probably I'm going to take it from here, move it to the ID itself, to the practice session. Yeah, I'm gonna move them a bit up, and I'm gonna send here the card. So on press, on change card, this is card question, and here set random card, we're gonna send here, and we're gonna send the card itself. And when we receive that event, where is it? Here, we're actually going to find the card with that ID and set it in state. So now if I do start practice session, What's your favorite big book? So from my other device, I'm going to change it. So it goes to movie and then back to book. But if I change it from here, so what's actually happening here? I do on change. It's not gonna have anything. In the index, set random card. On change card. I can do this one there without having to have another function. So when we call set random card, we set it here with a random one and we send it as set card over the air as an event to everyone else. And then in this use effect, if we get this one, we just do set card with that ID. Let's try again. So if I do next sport, you see it changes and we both are looking at the same card. Cool. That's what I was needing. And the other way around, if I change here, it changes automatically on my other device. So it keeps in sync. Both of us are looking at the same card or at the same question. So this is our git add git. Conversation cards and syncing with the call. Okay, perfect. So we have them. I think the next step is going to just use to improve how they look and to improve to add more of them. Not only like a question, but as we saw here in this recommendation from ChatGPT, there is so many ways we can add like this kind of games, like tell me about something, or 20 questions, one person thinks of a word. So basically word games to practice a language. Word associations. Start with a word and another person says the first related word to that word that comes to mind. And that would be a way to practice some words. Okay, but I think that I'm going to continue on this tomorrow in the live stream, because for today I already have an interview. I'm live for 2 hours and I feel a little bit tired, and I think I need to recharge a little bit. So that was the progress today. We managed to add the cards. We managed to add some a bit more UI components to our calls. We managed to do the language learning to set what language you are learning. So this way we can easily connect people together. And this is good progress. There is not much time left in the challenge because we have still 2 days for this application. But I'm excited on how this is turning up. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. I'll wait you tomorrow at the same time here on my channel to continue working on the application. And I cannot wait to see what projects you guys are building for Not Just Hack. Because remember, during December, we are running this hackathon for mobile developers where you can build an application, launch it to the market, and you have a chance to win these prizes. More information about the hackathon itself you can find at notjust.dev. And during this process, I'm also sharing my journey of building and deploying 4 applications in 4 weeks, and I'm doing this in the daily streams. So if you enjoy this process, if you enjoy these live streams, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot. And yeah, good luck with the projects that you